Hi. So there is so much talk about what it means to be a provider for a man in relationships. And all of these femininity coaches are talking about you need a man who's a provider. You need a man who's a provider. I want to talk more about that because there is so much more to providing than just money. While, yes, money is important, the number one thing that causes couples to divorce is finances. Providing goes much more beyond that. When we talk about masculine energy and feminine energy, masculine energy is structure, feminine energy is flow. So, when we talk about traditional male female roles, if you are a woman who is looking to find a man in his masculine energy while you are in your feminine energy, what this means is that the man has to provide a more masculine structure in how he, approaches relationships. And that means that again, he has to provide a lot more than just pure, you know, just money, just more than finances. So, we're going to talk about the five things that a man needs to provide in a relationship. So, welcome to Confidently Cherished. My name is Keisha Rice. I am a dating coach and hypnotherapist. I help women learn how to heal from their unhealthy relationship patterns and learn to create cherished feminine relationships in which they feel loved and protected and provided for. So, let's talk about these five things that a man needs to provide in a relationship. Number one is space. This one is really important because we talk so much about, relationships, being a partnership, being together, growing together, loving together, all of that. And yes, it is very important. But when you are in a relationship, it is also a huge opportunity for you to grow as an individual. The relationship itself is an opportunity for you to grow because you are learning how to communicate better. You are learning your own boundaries. You're learning how to enforce the boundaries you already have, what new boundaries you need to set. You are learning about yourself and how you react to certain triggers because nothing triggers you more than dealing with relationships with other people, not just your romantic relationships, but also your relationships with family, with friends, all of that. I'm constantly telling my clients that all relationships are related. So if you show me someone who is struggling with their romantic relationships, they also have issues with family, friends as well. If you can't set boundaries with your partner, you probably struggle to set boundaries with your parents, with your siblings, all of that as well. So, in a relationship, a woman should expect that a man is going to provide her with space for her to grow on her own, for her to explore the things that she likes, for her to be supported as she learns what her purpose is and how to fulfill that. And giving that space does not mean that, the relationship is less. But in order for two people to be happy in a relationship, they have to not only honor each other and honor their time with each other, but they have to honor the other person's need to spend a long time, to have their own interests, to cultivate those, to learn certain things on their own. So, the number one thing that a man should provide you with is space. And by the way, if you're just joining me, I am live on both TikTok and on YouTube. I normally don't record my podcast live, but I thought that would be something fun to do today. So, number two, a woman should expect that a man provides her with respect. That means respecting her boundaries, respecting who she is as a person, respecting her ability to grow and achieve. So much has been made recently with the Olympics coming up of Simone Biles and her husband. I am blanking on his name. And I feel really bad because so many people can't remember his name. But, um, there's been a lot of talk about that, about how he makes himself out to be the prize in the relationship, whether or not he seems jealous of Simone Biles' success, which I personally think that explains a lot of his behavior. But, it is so important that when you are in a relationship, you need to expect that the person is going to respect your growth journey, back to them giving you space. They also need to respect your boundaries, and they need to put you in a place where you feel like you don't have to constantly defend yourself, prove yourself. They shouldn't be doing things that question your worth. They shouldn't be constantly trying to take you down a peg, trying to humble you, things like that. The third thing that a woman should expect a man to provide her with is certainty. That certainty comes in the form of consistency, of integrity. When someone tells you that they're going to do something, they should do it. When someone says that they're going to be in a certain place, that they're going to do a certain thing, you should know that that is what's going to happen unless there's some absolute emergency. There should be certainty in being able to, once you get to know someone, really be able to expect certain types of behavior, to know their personality, for a person not to just completely switch personalities and be a different person from time to time. So, when you are in a happy, healthy relationship, one of the things that is really hard for my clients and for other people to understand is that if they have a history of unhealthy relationships, those relationships are often very chaotic, full of drama. And although that's not healthy, there's some excitement with that. So, oftentimes, when you go from being in a series of unhealthy relationships to being in your first healthy relationship, the relationship feels boring. It's not as exciting, and you may feel like there's not as much quote unquote chemistry because you are used to chaos. One of the best pieces of relationship advice that my grandmother ever gave me was she used to say to me all the time that God is not the author of confusion. If you are in a situation where you're constantly confused, this is not a healthy relationship, and it is a situation you need to get yourself away from. So, with that in mind, when you are in a happy, healthy, loving, cherished relationship, you should expect that the man you are with will provide you with certainty. That leads us into the fourth piece of advice that I have, and that is when you're in a happy, healthy relationship, a man should provide you with safety. Now, oftentimes that is physical safety, certain things like a man walking on the outside of the curb and allowing you to walk on the inside of the curb, but it's also emotional safety, mental safety. You should feel like you can be vulnerable with this person. You should feel like you can talk to them about your individual problems and any issues that arise in the relationship as well. You should feel safe to be authentically you, not feel like you have to put on a front or a show in front of this person. So, safety is crucial to being in a relationship. And again, these things that I'm talking about are the bare minimum. If you don't have these in a relationship, you don't need to be in the relationship. So, I'm going to get to my fifth and final point, but let's recap the other four that I mentioned. If you are in a relationship with a man, he should be providing you with space to grow and learn and explore who you are while you're in this relationship. He should also be providing you with respect. He should be providing you with certainty, knowing who this person is, knowing that you can depend on him, knowing that you can count on him, and being able to predict certain behaviors in the relationship after you've been together for a certain point. And he should be providing you with safety, not just physical safety, but emotional safety, mental safety, spiritual safety. Safety for, back to that idea about space, safety for you to be who you are and to grow into who you're becoming. Now, once those bare minimum standards have been set, the fifth thing that a man should provide you with in a relationship is love. And I say this last because love is a fleeting emotion, and love is also a choice. That honeymoon type of love that we have where we feel head over heels, that goes away after a certain period of time in a relationship. And it's actually a good thing. At a certain point, you shouldn't constantly have this type of roller coaster anxiety, anxiousness, that comes with that romantic type of love. At some point, you should get into a point where you feel comfortable with a person. And with that comfort comes, again, less excitement. But there's just something so nice about being in a relationship with someone, knowing who they are, knowing who you are, and knowing that this is your person and that this person has your back and loves you and cares for you. So when you have that love in the relationship, I want to be clear that what love is that love is not controlling. Love is not fearful, and love does not come from a place of insecurity. I mentioned a man should provide you with safety. Part of that safety is security. Hey, Conquer, hope you're doing well. So when you have this type of security, safety in a relationship, then that is where you still have this feeling of love, not the roller coaster in the beginning, but a different kind of more settled, trusting love. And it is also the point where you are able to fully show up and be your best in a relationship. Expecting someone to treat you well is actually the least selfish thing that you can do, because when a person treats you well, you show up as your best. And because you show up as your best, then you are allowed to be a better partner. You have that space, that freedom, that safety to be as good of a partner to this other person as you would hope that they would be to you. So, again, you should expect that a person is going to provide you with love, and that in every interaction they have with you in the relationship, they are going to lead with love. That all of their behaviors toward you will come from a place of genuinely wanting what is best for you and genuinely wanting to see you happy, see you fulfilled, see you become the person that you are meant to be. If a person is treating you and in a way that shows that their behavior is coming from insecurity, they're afraid constantly of you cheating, of other people becoming more important, they're constantly jealous, they exhibit controlling behavior, then this person is not in love with you. They are doing what they can to keep you from a place of wanting you to themselves, from a place of control, which is not love. And I'm not saying that that makes them a bad person, because some people just don't know. Some people didn't have those examples in their childhood. They didn't have great parents themselves. They didn't have healthy relationship role models. So, because they didn't have those things, they don't know how to treat you well. Again, that doesn't make them a bad person, but it probably means that they are bad for you. And you can love them, you can wish them the best in the world, but at the same time, it means that, you probably need to find someone who can love you in the way that you need to be loved. So, again, these are the 5 things that you should expect your partner to provide for you in a relationship. They need to provide you with space to grow, they need to provide you with respect, they need to provide you with certainty, with safety, and they also need to provide you with love. Again, these are bare minimum standards. So, this was short and sweet, but I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Confidently Cherished. Again, I typically don't record my podcast live, so if you like to see me do more live podcasts, please let me know. But in the meantime, Confidently Cherished is anywhere you can listen to podcasts. We're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, all of that. And if you want to message me or if you want to work with me one on one, I am on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Keisha Rice, KESHIARICE. And yeah, so I hope that I get to see you again very soon. And thank you for joining me. Bye.